Ability is not being better than your fellow man, but it's being better than the person you were yesterday. Simple. If time and sometimes, don't get me wrong, I sometimes think, okay, maybe if I dress like her, if I talk like her, if I do my makeup like, but I promise you, every time I'll feel stupid within myself. Once I'm trying it, something in my head is like, you look like a drama. Stop it.
Hello, y'all. Welcome back. And today I have with me a dear friend, and I also have model, content creator, and actress, Beulah. Also,
hello.
You see, I'm African, but I actually always ask because I never want to mess up the African name because I'm actually American. Jesus, help me. So, how do you say your last name?
Obioma.
Yeah. Okay, you see, I got that. Okay, so Beulah Obioma is here with me today, and I'm so excited.
Yeah. Thank you
and today, me. Oh, of course. Today, again, like our conversation is going to be really chill. You know, we're doing a sit down chat, because Beulah is actually in the entertainment industry, and like me, she is a beautiful, 3 times tall, dark-skinned woman. And I think both of our experiences are similar, but we also have so many nuances when it comes to growing up Black in America, but also in the entertainment industry. And that's something that is subjective to each person's own experience. So I would love to hear a lot more about your experience, Beulah, just being in this industry, especially coming from like an immigrant background, and how that journey has been for you.
Challenging.
One word, challenging.
And challenging is not necessarily a bad thing. For anything good that needs to be overcome or that needs to be achieved, there's always a challenge. So yes, that's one way I would put it.
Not the first thing was a gem. What was that? Hold on. Are we, is there like a priesthood that I need to be aware of? Okay. Yeah. I think like for me, like my experience has been like filled with so many like ups and downs. And y'all, okay, first off, I'm a weirdo. I stalked Beulah and then I hit her up on social media and was like, hey girl, so like we need to catch up and let's have coffee.
This is the first time I'm hearing this. I had no idea.
Because I was like, she's going to be perfect for this episode. And then she met me and I was like, hey, so you know, you're going to be on my podcast because our experiences are so similar, just from the outside perspective. So this is also a conversation that we may be having for the first time, but there are also allusions to the conversations we had when we first met. And I think one of those, one of the topics that we talked about when we first met was just how it was like coming into this industry as a Black woman, but also trying to find your identity and make a unique presence in this industry, right? And I know for me, like my experience has been all over the place where like I always feel like I'm never there yet. Like I'm never even close to like being what I am trying to be, in the sense of like as a model, like I've had so many ups and downs. Like I've done this, I've done this fashion week, I've done this, like I've shot with this designer, of like I've done all these things, but like in the sense of a professional career, there's so many things I'm still aspiring to. And also with acting, like it's all a journey, and we're literally just like fighting tooth and nail for ourselves to be seen as a Black woman that doesn't fit the mold of like the skinny sample size. Like we're giving like a midi size.
Don't even get me started with the length.
Right?
The length alone.
Yes.
Just having to shop and pay extra for material. I don't like it, people.
Everything I own is custom now. Like, and when I say custom, I buy it and then go to the tailor to get it fixed. Because why would it fit me?
Why?
It wasn't made for me. Right? So I think your experience is unique too, because you have a very similar perspective, but also I know you've dabbled in well, not acting, because she has a BFA. So let me not even disrespect her. Period. So she has a BFA. She's an actress. She's a model, and you're also a content creator. What has your experience been like being so unique in the industry?
That's interesting. It's very broad. It's very, yeah. But I'll try to simplify it as much as I can, honestly. But let's start with the height thing. I think once you walk into the room, it's like, oh, you're tall. You know,
immediately.
So majority of the time when I meet with casting professionals, what are they called? Agents.
Yes.
They're like, oof, you're tall. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not just me. So what is this? And it's so interesting because now coming from Nigeria, you are now in a society where you can kind of evolve as much as you want. You can broaden your perspective on your taste of dressing, the way you want to appear in public, how you want to sound, just your aesthetic in general. And it's just so interesting that in the entertainment industry, there is not enough. They say it's a make-believe of life, but they don't want to include your life in it. And I don't get that, especially for America. America has a lot of smooching over. I'm Nigerian. I'm not Nigerian American. I'm Nigerian.
Yes.
I don't sound, they're like, oh, this accent is cute. Can you? No. That's how I sound. I am a representative of where I'm coming from. And that is what I've come to be a symbol of in your industry. And so it's almost as though they want a representation of you, but on their terms.
Yes.
So do you want the authenticity of it?
Yes.
Or do you just want like sugar, spice, and everything nice?
Yes.
And I never understand that. And I do get into the space of wanting to bend because I have lost weight. So much so that my mom is like, are you okay? Because I was trying to get signed by an agency. They're like, okay, you need to be this skinny. You need to look like this. You need to do that and that. And I'm dying. Trying to fit in. I can't grow shorter. So I'm like, okay, maybe I could get skinnier.
Something gotta give.
You know?
Yeah.
And in all of that, you're killing yourself.
Yeah.
Literally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and otherwise. And it's not good for you. It's not good for the artist because your mental health is very important. So I believe I'm coming to a place now where it's thick is thick.
And she thick, y'all.
She's tall, she's tall. Like,
right?
She's colorful, she's colorful. My brows are not even black. My mom is like... And it's sometimes when I watch some shows and bless shows like that actually take the time to incorporate people who look like their real selves, where you kind of look in TV, I'm like, okay. So that's also something that encourages me. And I think that is something I appreciate about the UK entertainment versus America in a way. The UK has like a presence of the ethnicity, of the alternativeness of some individuals that America tends to smooch over. Just in job applications, they're like Black, African American. And then they say Caribbean, this, that. African?
Yeah.
Can just add
100%. There's a lack of representation. But I agree that it's something that it's intentional. Because even when you're looking at Europe or even any African countries, being in those countries, not only do they identify, okay, what is your descent? It's like, what is your descent as opposed to like, are you American Nigerian or like, are you Caribbean American? Like, there's always a way to like add in, I have to be this. And I know like for me, as I was coming up in the industry, similar to you, I was never small enough and I was never big enough. And I was always stuck in this place where like I either have to like lose 30 pounds or gain 30 pounds. And I'm like, okay, to me, I'm already considered plus size, but I'm not big enough to be the best plus size model that they're looking for, the optimal size. So like, I feel like I was always like, okay, am I going to eat myself to death? Or am I going to starve myself to death? Which one am I going to choose? And I'm finally in a space where like I like have decided I'm just going to be myself. And I also love that in some organizations there is more of a body positivity movement where they're now learning to accept the range of what a woman looks like. But it's like stage 1.
Yeah.
Like we're not even close.
Stifling. Yeah.
We're not even close to that. And I particularly, just like in American like media, there's always just this need to aspire to European standards of beauty, like Eurocentric standards of beauty, where like you kind of have to like colorism comes into play sometimes, where it's like they want you to look black, but not too black.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to be like, look wide enough to appeal to the wide audience.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to not look black enough so that they can't connect with you. But then you're black so the black people connect to you. So there's always this like, what is...
What's the balance?
Yes. What does the balance look like?
I always wonder, in humanity generally, just as a society, I always wonder what is the incentive of society. And if you bring it down to the entertainment industry, what is the incentive? Is the incentive to create stories that actually appeal to people to progress? Or is it to create stories that cause people to be even more frustrated about the life they live?
Yes.
I never understand that. Because even when you come to the European standards, every European is not skinny,
right?
ocean eyes,
Right?
blonde. And even some of them have to struggle to fit in. And then so much more for the people of color. So it's like these people that are setting up these standards of how you should stand, what your teeth should look like. You have people going to shave off their teeth for the ones who do it for medical reasons.
Yeah.
But for the ones who are like, oh, I don't have the $1 million smile and I want to get there and that is what is required to. And then you go, you alter your health, for God's sake, for a standard that is constantly changing, by the way.
100%.
I never understand it.
Yeah.
Are you trying to encourage people to say, yes, eat healthy? We want our models to look healthy. We want them to look like they work out. We want them to look like they go to therapy. We want them to look like they have a community. No. It is, we want you to be frustrated. Even just in media, the things that sell are the negative parts. We want you to be in the dark. We want you to be...
Yes.
Why? What is that? That's so whenever I see some of those sometimes, like when I apply to castings and everything, and they're like, you have to be this size in the waist and this size and... Sir,
who is made like that?
do you know?
Who, honestly?
And it's so ridiculous. And I try to think, okay, what is my incentive for myself as an artist in this industry? Am I trying to please every casting that I see? Am I trying to be pleasing to every eye that sees me?
Yeah.
Or am I trying to be comfortable in my skin, hone my crafts, and make money?
Okay, so me and Beulah are like fitness girlies. And I'm like on the latter end of like, I'm trying to get back into it, y'all, because I got married and then we just started eating and now like,
You know,
like that happy way.
don't make it sound like that. You
He's
know,
over
you
here
know.
laughing in the corner. But now I think for you, every time I see you post, you're working out, you're doing something physical. So what inspired your fitness journey? Was any of that an effect to it?
My fitness journey, when I moved to LA, I moved alone. It was my first time ever moving without family. When I was in community college in Washington, I was with my brother. And when I was in track and field, I had a community. We worked out in a team.
Yeah.
I would work out with my brother or my sister. And so coming to LA was the first time I was by myself. And I was very lonely. I felt alone. I felt isolated. I felt unloved. I just was in the dark a lot. So I would always work out at home. And my mom is like, you need to go out. You need to be amongst people. Because society tries to, there's this isolation thing going on. They want to isolate you. Get your own apartment. Be your own. Yes. You, I, me. No, it is a we. It took two people to make you.
Right?
You know? And one of those people had to carry you. They didn't just lay you as an egg and say, okay, come out.
Yeah.
You know? So it took me some time and I got out of it and I started going to the gym. And aside from trying to stay fit, I also have some minor health issues. And those combined just keep me active. And mentally, whenever I'm just going through a hard time, it's just good to sweat it off.
Okay.
Like get into some good worship, hit some cardio, hit the weights. For people who are like, it's either cardio or weights, do two together and stretch. So hit the cardio, hit the weights. It just helps me process it. If life ever gets really, really down, God and the gym. Like those two things. I'm like, okay. So it once I know that something is slipping, I'm like, it's either it's God or it's the gym. I'm like, I need to get it in check. So,
see, I commend you because you're better than me. And how I know that you're better than me is because I started my fitness journey off of spite. I was literally 100%. I literally was like, I want to do Miami Swim Week.
Okay.
And I wasn't giving Miami Swim Week body.
Oh.
So I started training because I'm like, y'all are not going to turn me away.
Okay.
And then I tested it out with LA Fashion Week. And I was like, all right, so let me do this, see what happens. And they was like, yeah, you too big. So then I was like, all right, bet. So like, let me like now start training for Swim Week. So like, it was literally like, I'm going to tell y'all who I am type of thing. But then I think for me in the journey of like doing fitness, I started discovering my body. And that's that's something that I never knew I needed.
Okay.
Because there's something about learning how to style yourself that a lot of people, including myself, didn't know until like a few years ago.
Okay.
Where like I don't have, like I have broad shoulders.
Me too.
My hips are like hipping. Like I have certain things. I have like big, long legs. Like what can I wear to make that look good? But then also when I started working out, I started like optimizing, like my shoulders started getting bigger, my hips, like it's like everything started being accentuated. My like everything that I already was just started looking better on me.
Yeah.
And then when I started like actually getting into styling and all of that stuff, I found confidence in like, okay, I actually look good. But that was off of some, well, you know,
you're gonna see this body.
Like, you gonna see me.
And you gonna want this body.
100%. So, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm traumatized. Because, like, everything I do, it'll be off some, like, okay, I'm gonna show you. Like, I'm gonna show you that you should have looked at me.
That's interesting.
Girl.
I'm a first child. I never want to compete with anybody. I don't have
I'm
energy.
a second child.
Okay. That makes
You're
sense.
like, it's making sense.
I'm the first. I don't have energy. If you see it, you like it. If you see it, I don't like it, go to your house.
Is that how my
What
sister
come?
thinks? Should I apologize?
You probably should. Like, I don't competition, like out of spite, I'd leave. Like, I don't anything that is ever going to put me, especially with somebody else.
Yes.
I think that's something that maybe I am most proud of myself for. I will never compete with anybody.
Girl, you chose the most competitive industry.
I won't my mother says variety is the spice of life.
Ooh, okay.
Simple. That's it.
Okay.
I am a spice that you need, whether you know it or you don't.
Oh.
So as much as you can go carrying everybody, when you need me, you come find me. Simple. I'm not going to try to look like anybody else. I'm not trying to compete. I'm not going to try to force my way into a friendship so that I can find out what it is that you're doing. So I don't have energy. I'm working on myself.
Is this a grown experience, or have you always been like?
I've kind of always been like, because I've always had first child. Already, everybody has expectations of you. Like, you're the first. Your siblings are looking up to you. You know, you have to be a good reputation in society. You have to do this, and you have to do this, and you have to do this. So once I got to college, I was like, I did not look back. I was an athlete. I worked on I was never training, I have to be better than this team member. Or I already knew the pressure of having so much expectations placed on you.
Yes.
To even start imagining expectations based on me trying to compare myself with somebody else who has a different background, different abilities, a different health and immune system, a different perspective. They could be colorblind, for God's sake. What's my basis for competition? I will fail.
So then what does perseverance look like when you are standing in your uniqueness, which you are, and you're still faced with, the other girl?
I remind myself, again, variety is the spice of life. I remind myself. I also try to, which is why I love movies. And this is when the first time I heard it was in Kingsman, I think. It says, nobility is not being better than your fellow man, but it's being better than the person you were yesterday. Simple. If time and sometimes, don't get me wrong, I sometimes think, okay, maybe if I dress like her, if I talk like her, if I do my makeup like, but I promise you, every time I'll feel stupid within myself. Once I'm trying it, something in my head is like, you look like a drama. Stop it. I'm like, okay, we need to reassess. So I then find, and it may take some time. I always take the time to find the space to remember that what is for you, and when it is your time, it will come to you. When you are ready for it. And I think this is something I do that annoys me as a person, and I'll tell you why. I pray these prayers. I pray, God, make me the person you've called me to be, so that I can do the things you want me to do. So when you get in those seasons where you're like, God, why is this happening to me? I remember you prayed, God, make me the person. So
You mocking yourself.
and it's so annoying. Like you pray, God, give me perseverance, teach me patience, teach me longevity, teach me persistence.
Yeah.
Like, all this. And then when the seasons come,
I feel that.
to build you into all of these things you've prayed for, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Like, really? This is
because it never looks like how you thought it would. At every single point, I feel like it's always like a surprise because it's like, wait, maybe I should have been more specific.
And then I reprayed the prayer. I'm like, God, I don't want it anymore. I want a rich man. I don't want to work.
Right?
Please, God, please. And it's like, no,
my God.
You're already in the process. I never thought I could hate a word so much and love it at the same time. The process. But yeah.
Okay. So just for the record, I want everyone to know that I agree with her. I just have experienced so much trauma that I started agreeing with her this year. So it took me a long time to get here. And like, again, I feel like because you moved to America like a few years ago, like maybe like 6 years ago, right? So I was raised here since I was 4. And there's something about being in just like America in the US where it's like being Black, being different, being tall, any difference about you that is not the majority is always in your face. Like at every single point, they're in your face about it. Whether it's you at school, you at work, you like, it's always like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So I think that's probably why our perspectives are so different because other countries are very open to the expression of individual people. Again, it's something where it's like, what are you, who are you? Tell me who you are and let's see how that works with us. As opposed to like the latter half of, no, you need to be like us for us to work.
I see.
You know?
Funny thing is, I feel like with America, my experience with that is different. I do believe that a few things, the concept of Black, I never identified as Black until I came to this country. So I remember the first time I had gotten so angry at this guy in my community college. I was an RA, which is a residence assistant. And he was like, oh, the African-American, the big African-American girl, the one that looks like a gorilla.
Jesus.
I said, it cannot be me. And of everything he called me, it was the African-American, the Black African that annoyed me. The gorilla part, I was like, eh.
Yeah.
I personally find something attractive about a gorilla. Have you seen a gorilla looking man? Forget it. Anyways, so I come and I'm like, I'm not African-American, one, and I'm not Black. Everybody was shocked at that statement. Like, you're not Black? What are you then? I'm like, I'm a person. What is Black? So what are you? Yellow, like lemonish green, what is this? And I had no concept or idea of race at the time. I didn't understand the history of America and all of these good things. And so with a lot of things like Black is beautiful and Black is supreme and Black is necessary. Black is a blueprint. I was talking to my roommates yesterday. We're kind of going through the questions and they're like, what is it about Black that you think is so beautiful? And I said, you don't see mascara wanting to be lipstick.
Yes. It's two different things. Can't do it.
Simple.
Yeah.
That's all. If you say, if I will put it in a way with skincare, because we love skincare and we do skincare, I'd say sunscreen is an essential. Black is an essential. Simple.
Yeah.
It's not so, oh my God, Black. And it's not like, oh my God, Black. It's like any, like white. But then the concept of the color is, for me, coming from that, is ridiculous to me. When we saw like the shootings and the killings, we're like, oh, why are they killing each other? When I came to America, it's like, oh, they're killing the Black people. And I was like, they're all people. I don't get it. Okay. So colorism, to a certain extent, goes over my head sometimes. Racism.
Just because it hasn't been in your face.
I don't.
You haven't been able, like your experience isn't that of someone who has always had to fight against it.
Yeah.
Because I know that for me, I fought against colorism. Yeah. I fought against like racist encounters. So when I am triggered, it's because of my experience.
Definitely.
But your experience is that of like, I'm so used to being viewed as a person that it doesn't really matter how I look.
It makes it, I find it funny. Like one of my friends had gotten insulted and they're like, oh, looking like a Black gorilla. And all I can think of is they have even skin tone. If only this hyperpigmentation could leave me alone. That's all. Like I'm in a different space, and for some people, they're really going through it, and there is a need to fight it and everything. For me, okay,
Yeah.
and it helps my mental health. If anything, is an advantage to me because I don't really think, oh, I wish maybe if I were a different race, if I were a different color. The concept of race annoys me. And ethnicity, yes. Race, but yeah. So that's
okay. Even talking about Black, when you mentioned earlier thinking of your Black as beautiful. So when we're looking at Black as beauty, have you ever thought or like even struggled with the concept of like, oh, I'm not beautiful because I'm Black, or like, is it, oh, I'm not beautiful, or has that even been a question?
This answer is going to come across hopefully not too coy, but I've never thought I wasn't beautiful.
Okay.
Furthermore, the color, like it's never been. If anything, I've thought maybe I'm too beautiful.
She said, "F what y'all thinking. I'm at the top of this."
And I'll explain why. And it's like as a woman in the industry, you have a lot of situations where you are borderline harassed, and you don't want to go into spaces because they're going to want to come on like, oh my God, you're so beautiful, like and so for me in my younger ages, I found myself praying that maybe I would be mid looking, like, oh, I wish I wasn't as tall, or I wasn't as thick, or I wasn't as fine. And it sounds ridiculous because some people are like, oh my God, I want to be this. But just because of some of the experiences it came with, you walk into a room, sometimes I used to pray not to be seen. I used to want to be invisible. Not because I thought I looked horrible, but it's because I knew I would be seen. I knew I would be identified immediately.
You already stood out.
I was too outstanding to stand in line.
Was it the height? Like
it was the height.
It was the height.
It was the height. It was definitely the height. I've always, oh, you're so tall for a girl. Oh, you're so tall for a girl. And it's like when you live in a bubble, because at some point I was raised in the eastern part of Nigeria. I had never traveled for the longest time. So it felt like, in my mind, I was going to be in the Guinness World Record for tallest girl. So that's how I combated the tall comments. And then I went to a place like Lagos. And then I started seeing tall people. I was like, God, this is not the agreement we had. Guinness World, come on. So the height was always a thing. But now, I wouldn't change it for anything.
100%.
Because it has molded, the way I walk. I see a lot of some like tall ladies or guys. I hate it when I see tall people that slouch. That thing pisses me off. I'm like, sir, ma'am, don't. No. Like, posture is posture, regardless of. And I used to be one of those people that I would, before I got into the New York Film Academy, 2017, I would slouch. I was always like this. So 2018, one of my New Year resolutions was, I'm going to straighten this thing. I don't like it. It's not what it doesn't match the identity.
Sure I'm not slouching.
It's not matching the identity I want for myself. And so when we were much younger, I used to go to my great grandmother's mud house, and she had this mud bed, so it wasn't a mattress or anything.
Yeah.
So and that's where she slept, and she stood straight till the day she died. So I decided, you know what, this year, no bed.
Okay.
So I slept on the floor for like a year. And so my dad called me.
It changed your posture? Wait, hold on.
So if you want to...
Do you know what's so crazy? When I was in Nigeria and I went to my grandma's village, her bed, I might as well slept on the floor. Is that why they're doing this?
That it's not even why. It's that is just the norm.
I see. Okay.
Because if you think of, not to be morbid, but if you think of a casket, the way a dead body is placed, is just you're lying straight and just the head lift. That's it. Luxury, majority of the luxuries of today is causing a malbalance in the system of a person. America's food, the air, the gas, all of these things. You're wondering why you're struck, why you're breaking out, why you have stomach upsets, because so many artificials. Yes. Everything is just... Bruh,
100%.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So when you now get older, they're like, oh, maybe she's an orthopedic bed so that it helps with your back. No, start sleeping with it from the beginning.
I see. You
will get comfortable, and so therefore you wouldn't struggle with this at your old age. Eat naturally grown so that but that's not what so the country, or rather the society, is now getting infused in the industry as well. And because, the Western world, they're now spreading it to the rest of the world, that this is what is better for you. And you should get your this done and your that done and sleep in a place like this and live in a place like this.
Oh, 100%. I feel like we've already known from the get-go
You know?
that, like, we were born as, like, a piece of the market in the sense of, like, as soon as we were born, they're trying to sell to us. And every piece of our livelihood is trying to see how much money they can make off of this one person. Whether, like, and that goes into every industry.
Honestly.
Literally every single industry. So, like, now I'm starting to think of, like, for me, tabloids shaped how I saw myself, how I saw, like, society growing up. Because I'm like, okay, what y'all are posting, I'm buying. Because I don't know that I'm a consumer. I don't know that, like, you're trying to mold how I'm thinking so that you can get more money from me, right?
Yeah.
So I think for me, when it comes to, like, just being in this industry at all, like, I'm so aware of everything being a sell tactic, everything, that, like, I literally have to stand in myself and be like, it doesn't matter what I do. They're going to try to make money off of who I am. So the only thing I can do is be myself and try to be the best of myself I can be.
Definitely.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like, even when we, like, really just look at, like, again, all of these different countries, you being in Nigeria, America, it's so different. And it's so, like, our individual experiences, like, with things such as, like, beauty, posture, body image, it's so different because there's a greater acceptance in each person's individuality in other countries.
Yeah. It's also, I visited Nigeria recently and I had just been feeling low about myself for a while. Like, I know what I am capable of. I know I know that God has led me here.
Yes.
But I'm just questioning, so what is wrong? I get back to Nigeria and people are like, oh my God, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, you're so fit. Oh my God, you're so tall. Oh my God, this and oh my God, that. I'm like, oh my God, if somebody could sign me.
I'm done, right?
Oh my God, if I could get an agent and get in the, oh my God, like, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just reminding yourself that, hey, when it is your time, one. Two, when the right person sees you. Because again, with the isolation thing, it's not, for every way that God blesses a person is through another person. We're all vessels. And as much as I want to lock myself in the apartment and be like, I'm not going out, I'm not getting signed, I'm not getting a job, it's not going to help me. Even if I decided that I was going to build a whole career of being a content creator and just staying in my house, it's not how you're made. You're made for community. Yes. You're made to be around people. You're made to work with people, interact with them, grow with them. So I always try to remind myself of that.
I love that you said that because I feel like my community growing up always told me I was beautiful. Like, as, like, who I was, my family, everyone told me I was beautiful. So, like, and to me, I kind of, like, held that as, like, this is part of my identity. Like, this beauty that I'm being seen as is part of my identity. And then I would get into spaces where typically you translate beauty into film and entertainment. And you're like, okay, let me get into this space because now I can capitalize something that I've been told all my life. And every single place is like, no. Like, why did you think you could? Like, who? No. And so now I'm just like, wait, what is reality? And it's not even a matter of, like, who I am. It's just a matter of, like, what, like, the community is telling you.
Yes.
Where you have, like, entertainment, that community is like, okay, wait, you're too tall. Modeling community is telling you, wait, you're not big enough, you're not small enough. Like, every community has a different perspective.
Yeah.
So to lean on something as like insignificant as another person's opinion kind of, like, holds you back rather than, like, helps to propel you into where you're supposed to go in life and where God is trying to take you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear that. I try to remind myself that, hey, to be aware of even the community or, like, the industry itself. What does the industry represent?
Yes.
What is this beauty standard that it speaks of, that is constantly changing, that does not have a solid mark? You say you want to have diversity. You say you want to have variety. but you're not preaching it. You're not preaching it in your films. You're not preaching it in your industries. You're not preaching it in the magazines that we see. So whenever I do walk up to those doors and I walk up to those places and they bark back with, oh, you're not, oh no, you cannot possibly be. The fact that I am is simple.
Yes.
So it is until, and I love how I'm here giving you guys all this, like, oh God, I'm going to take notes, and then I better take these notes myself and go home and remember them when I cry at night. But the fact that you are is, if you simply, again, a variety, a spice of life, simple. If you did not exist, then you were not needed, period.
Honestly, I heard you say diversity, and it literally made my blood boil because I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before yesterday when the Supreme Court ruled against affirmative action.
Yeah.
And for me, at first, like, you know, when they ruled against abortion, they overturned Roe versus Wade. And then now we're going into affirmative action. There was also another ruling that I can't remember. But now we're going into affirmative action. And I'm like, what is this agenda? Because for me, the agenda is saying we don't care about like who you are as a person. We just care about the institution that is making us money. And the institution is being held by abortion restrictions or whatever that looks like, or affirmative action is something that a lot of companies were pouring so much money into D&E, where it's like, why do we have to do this? They were mandated to do it. And yes, minorities benefited, but we needed that. We needed that because there wasn't another door for us. Like, there wasn't another door to accept like our individuality and being Black and being a woman and being something different from like the majority. So now that you're closing that door, because one, again, for me, I'm just like, everything is a money move. Like, so for the government is a business. It's not making money for them, or it's not making sense for, like, it's not benefiting the majority for them.
I need to understand how fake these people is. And they're just money.
Yeah.
Somebody's face on a paper. You're killing people. You're killing their rights.
Yeah.
You're blinding their emotions, their sight, their color, their dreams, their aspirations, their ambitions.
Yeah.
For a face on a paper, the beginning of it is fake. Set it on fire, you're gone. You're polluting the air you breathe. You're killing the food you eat. You're poisoning the minds that make your engine run.
Yeah.
I'm no longer surprised. I think from the concept of, oh, and then I make money, and I make money. I mean, it's a currency. Tomorrow, the currency could turn to, to a certain extent, women are currency. Or if you look a certain way, you're currency.
Yes.
It's always just something else.
Yes.
At the times of Mansa Musa, it was gold, it was diamonds, it was precious stones. Now it's somebody's face on a paper. And your human rights, necessities. It should make your blood boil.
Yeah.
It should make anybody angry. But at the same time, I cannot let it consume me because the origin, it does not make sense already.
Yes.
Somebody somewhere is sitting down. A God complex, simple. You're not God, you want to play God, and that's it. So whatever you will do to subject your fellow man to make you feel like the God that you are not, you will do.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is exhausting. I ain't gonna lie to you, and I try to ignore it as much as I can, but sometimes it's just in your face.
Yeah.
But I do try to remind myself of that and try not to let it weigh me down too much, as angry as I get.
And I feel like we can go into a whole little political spiel, because I'm just like, there's so much to say about that, and I'm like, let me reel it back in before it gets dark. And I want to like go into like, even when we're talking about like beauty and individuality, and then trying to talk about currency and what that looks like. Not only are we like moving into like subjectivity within like from person to person, company to company, whatever it is, but then it's also saying that it's never just beauty. And like I literally had to learn that, like you said, it's never just, am I pretty enough? Am I tall enough? Am I are people going to like me? Like, it's never that. It's so many other things within, first, the media and entertainment industry social media, everything it touches, it's like there's so much more levels to know that like you thinking like, oh, let me just post this pretty picture am I gonna like, should I model? Should I get signed by an agency? It's never about you.
Yeah.
It's about, the institution of a business and how they can make money off of you.
Yeah.
And I literally had to sit myself down from this little pride run I tried to go on during like my fashion run. And I had to literally be like, it doesn't matter what I do to change myself or to try to be the best version of myself. I'm not going to be looked at for face value unless I know how to play their game of making money off of me.
Yeah.
Literally making money off of me.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm like at a point where I'm like, if I'm going to make money for you, I need to make sure I'm making it for myself. And like
Simple.
every single thing that I'm doing is like, all right, so like, I know you're going to try to benefit off of me, but at the end of the day, I need to make sure that I'm still the winner.
Yeah.
If I'm allowing you to do that, or if I'm giving you permission to kind of take my livelihood and like use it for an ad or like, support this brand or whatever, know? And like, it literally like takes you as a person to really sit yourself down to really be like, it's never about me.
Definitely. And it also takes, for people who don't take the time to make that move, it's harder not to jump at the first opportunity, even when it's not as valuable.
It's not for you, yeah.
It's not what you want to do.
Yes.
But because they've subjected you so many times.
Yes.
And for a person who does not take the time to really think and process and feel and let go, you're like, okay, yes, it's my time.
Yeah.
And you're just jumping into the wrong things. There are so many other like shoots and ads have been coming like, hey, we'd like you to that. And then this is what we want to pay you. And I was like, no? What, my gym membership?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we have other people that we want to go to them then. Like they say, putting a fish in the sea. And for the people who, I am grateful that I'm in a place where I'm not ready to just jump at anything.
Yeah.
I take my time. I send it to my friends. I'm like, hey, is this a brand we represent?
Yes.
And they're like, no.
Ooh, having friends that hold you accountable is a game changer.
Honestly, accountability.
1000%.
Definitely. So it can be frustrating, but like I said, like if your eye is on the prize, your eye has to be on the prize, because if you don't have it on something, you're gonna fall for anything that comes along, and that's not what we're trying to do.
Yes. And I've like experienced so many opportunities where for me, I was like, this is going to be the one. This is going to be it. This is going to be my big break. Because, in this industry, we're like chasing the big break, right? Yeah. And not only did they fall in my face or make me look stupid or literally leave me in tears, the amount of tears that I had cried over these big breaks that I was trying to chase because I was tired of not being seen in the way that I've been praying for. Like I've been asking for it. So then as soon as something came, I'm like, all right, let me just hop right into that. And like God will literally drop me on my face and be like, why did you do that? You asked me and I told you and you still did it. And now I'm here only because he had to like literally reel back everything and allow me to heal from all of the experiences that I should have never taken.
Definitely.
I literally could have progressed so much further, not only in myself, because I've also learned in this industry that when you actually figure out who you are and you market that person, you literally skyrocket.
Simple.
So like had I just like kind of dived into figuring myself out, I would have been so much further.
It's easy to say that, but it's not easy though, because life doesn't give you the...
Prove me wrong, girl. Come on.
I mean, girl, I hear you because I'm right there with you. You want to just be like, damn, why did I do that? Yeah. But because you want to, and you have family, you have people that you want to support and you have dreams that you want to catch. You're young and you want to do it now when, you're popping and you're healthy and everything. And so sometimes it's hard to take the time to figure it out.
Yes.
Because you're trying to get there. And which is why the concept of purpose and God and accountability is necessary, because then those people and those spirits and that mind will be like, hey.
Yes.
Because sometimes you just lose and you're like, I just want it, I really want it. It's like, yeah, but not like this. If you get it when you want it, who is it going to turn you into? What kind of person do you become? Would you love yourself, or would you just love what you're doing because you're getting what you want? So I really just hear you on the take your time and figure it out thing. But also everybody is just not there to say, hey, is this how I want it? Should I approach it this way, or do I wait?
Yes.
Waiting is so hard, girl.
Waiting is the hardest thing that you could do, but it's the most beneficial thing you could do for yourself. And when people say LA has no soul, this industry has no soul, I genuinely feel that if you do not know who you are, it will eat you alive. And the only way to really know who you are, like you said, is to dive into building your community, your relationship with God, like your mental health, your physical health, really investing in yourself and investing in the fruit that you can create when you're full.
Yeah. And getting to know yourself for yourself, because God is in you.
Yeah.
You're a vessel. You have to really connect with yourself and hear yourself when you speak, sometimes not your thoughts. Hear you. What do you want?
Yes.
Because as adults, we're also forgetting that we used to be younger. We used to look up to people and say, I want to be like Auntie this and Miss this. And, and those people are also in there viewing life through you. And so you get to this place of desperation and it's like, no, okay, who is this person? But what do I want? What do I need? And it's hard sometimes, man. But you gotta try.
Yes. I've also had the pleasure of meeting some of the most beautiful people that I have looked up to from a far distance growing up.
That's amazing.
And it's been bittersweet sometimes because I see them and I'm like, oh my gosh, this and that. And all the time, I feel like each and every one of them would tell me, continue to do what you're doing, but also don't make it be your everything. Don't make this journey, don't dive yourself into this journey so much that when you're not producing or when you're not being successful, you feel as though there's nothing left of you or you don't have any more value to give to the world.
I see.
And there's so many people where you see celebrities and influencers and public figures falling because they've made fame their god, vanity their god, and they're really not looking back into themselves and saying, if you remove all of this, do I know who I am?
Yeah.
Do I know how I look?
Yeah.
Without the makeup, the hair, the followers, what does that look like? And really, when you sit in yourself, you're able to live in that success and carry it and not be carried by it.
I see. No, honestly, it's very necessary to hear people who say that to us, and just especially what you're ingesting, like in music. Andy Grammer sang a song and he says, "Am I anybody if nobody wants to be me?"
Yes.
And I was like, what does that even mean?
That's dark.
I was like, So yeah, honestly, the journey. I think this phase of my life, I'm trying to get back to the journey. I don't know how I lost it. I got so focused with the next thing. Okay, the next thing. I have to. It has to be this. I'm like, bro, relax.
Yeah.
What happened to the journey?
Yes.
And I'm like, oh yeah, the journey. So I'm really trying to get back at it, remembering that the experience is why you're here.
100%.
It's not anything else.
Yeah.
Be you. Have a rich life. Live a rich life. Travel, see the world, grow, love, feel, cry. Gain weight, lose weight, eat, please eat. I like food.
Eat good.
Eat good. Just don't eat anything. So definitely it's very necessary.
Yeah.
I think if we can always remember that, then maybe we will always kind of just be okay.
Amen.
I hope so.
Ooh, it sounds like we're ending in a prayer. Lord God bless this conversation. I'm like, amen. But thank you. Wow,
definitely. Thank you so much for having me. Aww.
Thank you. Thank you for joining.
Yes.
And also, as we close out, I would love for you to drop your socials for everyone who's listening to follow you.
Hello. My name is Beulah Obioma, and my socials are also Beulah.Obioma. It is BEULAH.OBIOMA.
All
Yeah.
right. Thank you, Beulah. All right. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.
Yeah.